If your doctor has been unable to resolve your or your loved one's condition, please leave us a comment with a brief description. We will get back to you with current research information. Finding your disease. Are you or a loved one suffering from symptoms where doctors have been unable to isolate the cause? Are the medications you are taking not working properly? If you or someone you care about are suffering from any issue, be it physical or psychological, there is probably research that discusses the cause and potential treatments. I'm going to explain how I almost died, why my doctors couldn't identify the cause, and how I solved it. And the cause of my health collapse was surprisingly simple. I will then ask you to tell me your issue in the comments below. We will then research it for you. No charge. You don't have to identify yourself. You will see why in just a minute. So, where can we identify your disease? Each year, the United States National Institutes of Health, or NIH, awards more than 60,000 research and training grants totaling over $40 billion. These grants support approximately 300,000 researchers at more than 2,500 universities and organizations around the world. As of today, there have been more than 80 million science papers published since 1665. And approximately 2.5 million new scientific papers are published each year. Converged Medical Research, the producer of this video, reviews thousands of these studies to locate key findings from each study and then converges those findings into a cause-effect relationship along with possible treatment options. Many individual research grants cover only a slice, or functional silo, of the human body's functions because that is how the funding model works. Functional silos like the skin, the blood, the gut, the brain, etc. The research for these separate functional silos is not converged into end-to-end findings for many years, if ever. Many research studies are lost, refound many years later, or repeated over and over. Your disease is probably in those research studies. Mine was. Over the years, converged medical research has found many causes of symptoms. Not caused just by diseases, infections or other conditions, but also by over-the-counter products, old water pipes, toxic chemicals added to a product, allergic reactions and more. So, here is my story that led us to this point. In June 2019, I started having balance, hearing, speaking, thinking problems and many more strange issues. I went into an emergency room and passed a CAT scan of the brain and the fast stroke test. After 2 neurologists said that they couldn't help me, I hunted on the internet and found a Mayo Clinic article that described a right posterior cerebellum stroke and all the symptoms that I had. I demanded of my second neurologist to do an MRI of the brain. The MRI showed that I had a stroke in the right posterior cerebellum. The dead area was about the size of a large marble, 2.4 by 3 centimeters. 5 months after it started, I found out that I had a stroke in my right posterior cerebellum. Sounds like a good diagnosis. Right? Wrong. Even with the brain MRI and then going to a third neurologist, each of the neurologists said that the type of stroke I had would only affect balance. I would describe what Mayo Clinic says and they would just ignore me. You know, I am just the stupid patient, so what do I know? And then, 2 years after my stroke, my long-term disability provider denied my claim because their neurologist said the same thing as my 3 neurologists. Yet, I knew what my symptoms were. I believed in Mayo Clinic's definition of my stroke. So, I went hunting on the internet. 2 days later, I found research on the National Institutes of Health from 1998 by Dr. Schmahmann of Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School. This research documented tests that determined that my stroke could cause all my symptoms. I realized at that point that all of my neurologists had trained before 1998, the year of the Schmahmann syndrome study. On Monday, I called Dr. Schmahmann's office in Boston and was prepared to fly there for a full diagnosis. The nurse recommended that I look locally. I looked up all neurologists in my area and reviewed their training and age. I found several that had probably been taught by Dr. Schmahmann after 1998. I called one of these neurologists and the nurse asked me what I was looking for. I told her I needed a doctor that understands strokes in the right posterior cerebellum. She replied, "Do you mean Schmahmann syndrome?" I began to cry. as I am crying now as I write this. It took me 2 years, 5 neurologists, and my own research efforts to prove that my stroke had caused all the issues that I continue to suffer from to this day. I finally had a diagnosis from a qualified doctor. I had found the cause of my symptoms. 8 months later, after 2 appeals, I was finally able to get my long-term disability reinstated. This experience let me really understand the challenges that sick people and their families face if they have a disease or condition that is not well understood or is only recently being researched effectively. It also let me see how difficult, or impossible, it is for a practicing doctor to follow these research studies. So, here is my advice for your next step. For the uncommon diseases and conditions, pick a younger doctor that has been trained recently or a doctor that is involved in research in your area of concern. Now, let's find the cause of your symptoms. If you or a loved one has symptoms that your doctor cannot explain and treat, or you just want to share your experience, please leave a comment below. Converged Medical Research will research your case and try to find a solution. No charge. No need to identify yourself. You can take our findings and go to a doctor with some new knowledge in your hand. This is my gift to others who, like me, find themselves in a horrible situation with little or no hope of treatment and where the only path available to them is to spend more and more money on doctors, testing, and possible treatments, as well as lose jobs, benefits, and more. If Converged Medical Research needs more information, we will ask for it through the comments. Again, please do not identify yourself. With diligence, we may be able to help you find the cause of your symptoms. We are working on many medical videos that will come out over the next year. Your comments will help guide us to research specific areas. Oh, by the way, what was the seemingly innocent cause of my stroke? It was caused by infected over-the-counter eye drops. I put the eye drops in my eyes and 10 minutes later I couldn't walk. 10 days after my stroke had started, there was a recall of many types of eye drops, including mine, sold by all major stores. The recall said that the eye drops could lead to fatality. Mine almost did. We hope you have found this information valuable. If you enjoy these videos and want to support us being able to continue creating content for many years to come, we'd love for you to consider becoming a patron of Converged Medical Research. The link for becoming a patron is in the description below. We have many other sessions on medical-related topics coming. If you need information on a particular topic, please leave a comment below. Please click the subscribe button and ring the bell.